think to first understand how to get started in community, we have to understand what a community is. And I really love this definition by Chris Brogan, so I'm going to read it out while it's on the screen. The difference between an audience and a community is which direction the chairs are pointing. In this sense, community is about developing relationships, engaging with people, being a part of something together. You're not talking at them, you're talking. And that's key to understanding community. It's that engagement. It's the continual development of relationships. And that's why I like to say community doesn't ever stop, because we're recognizing that there are people who are there. We're all growing and learning something together. We're all involved in something together. And we're never going to be the same person that we were yesterday. So when you're getting it started in community, it's important to recognize that you try new things, you do new things, you engage in new ways, because we all grow every single day. One of the best ways to get started in community is by getting involved in different things. So find an existing community that interests you, something that you're willing to be involved in. And I know one of the biggest things over the pandemic years especially has been to kind of collect communities. So people online have found a lot of virtual spaces. And what I found is that devoting a lot of time to the one that makes most sense for you is a really great investment of your time. But I think that takes a lot of exploration first. Find the community that's right for you. Every community is going to be different. It's going to fulfill your needs in different ways. But finding the one that interests you, one that you can grow along with, one that will grow with you as well, can be really useful to staying involved in that thing. Look at the activities they're doing. Think about how you can get involved in those activities. Think about how you can suggest something. So maybe there's something that seems right for the community, but they're not currently doing it. Volunteer for that thing and say, hey, I would love to be able to start this endeavor. I think it goes along with the mission of this community, and I'm willing to take on some of that responsibility and volunteer if you think that's a good idea for this community. Find other ways to get involved as well. So you might have specialties. Think about what you're good at. Maybe you're good at documentation, and maybe you're good at onboarding. Say, hey, I noticed that there's not a real workflow for new member onboarding here, and I'd love to be able to support that by creating some documentation, or I'd love to create a welcome committee and think about the different things that we can do to make sure that new members have their questions answered and they have their needs fulfilled. So think about the things that you are good at or the things that you enjoy doing. Or lastly, maybe it's something that you want to explore. Maybe you think you might be good at leading a group of people in a discussion, but you've never done it before. So reach out to the community and say, hey, I'd love to be able to do this. I could use a little support. Do you think that there's a way for that to happen within this community? And that can get you some of the support that you need to move forward and get you started in building some momentum in community. It's important to recognize that you're probably already doing some community work, or you have throughout your time as really a human being, right? All of us are part of some group. That might be a club that you're a part of. Maybe you are part of a club in college, or maybe you are a club mom who helps with organizing your kids' activities, team mom if your kids are in sports. But there's lots of different ways that you can function as a community builder. If you're getting folks together, if you're planning, if you're coordinating, if you're listening to a group of people to help them feel like their needs are heard, understood, and that you all can grow together, then you're definitely doing community work. So I think it's worth taking some time to think of what are the groups that you're currently a part of. How do you function within that group? And if you're interested in becoming part of a community occupation, then think about what you can do within those groups to maybe grow your skills a little bit. Maybe you'll be volunteering for a larger role as part of your school leadership group. Maybe you'll volunteer to be a coach of your kids' group or something else. But you can always start by being an active member and thinking about where you can grow. Lastly, consider starting your own group. Now, I say this with a lot of caveats, and I think that this deserves an entire video by itself, but sometimes you find that you might not find what you want from other communities. And when that happens, what you can identify is there's a need out there. And chances are, if you find that there's a need for something, that you're not the only one that needs that thing. So I would encourage you to do a little bit of exploration. Look at what's already out there and start with that. Where are the needs? How am I filling a need that no one else is? What is the purpose of the organization? What are the goals for what we want to do? And why are we going to continue to do this? And oftentimes you'll find that there might be a really great journey along with that. But before you jump into starting a community, I highly recommend getting some experience in another community, even being a lurker in those communities. So look at a bunch of different communities, see how they're run, look at the cool initiatives and the things that they're doing that make them special, and take what you want from there to make that your own. So you want to look at that purpose, you want to look at that mission, and you want to think about logistics. So what type of community is this? Is this a community that meets up? Is this a community that's primarily run in a forum or in an async communication environment? There are a lot of different ways that you can create community. It doesn't have to be in person, it doesn't have to be solely online. The beauty of community is there are a lot of different ways to do it. And if you think that you have a unique way and a unique voice to bring to the world that nobody else is working on, or maybe nobody's doing it quite in the way that you want it to, then think of this as a really great opportunity to pave your own way into community building.